welcome to the Hospo Hustle, the podcast where we talk about hospitality, entrepreneurship, the wins, the losses, the grind behind it all. Today I've got Jacob Cohen. Jacob, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. When I messaged you, I was like, I hope he says yes. So, thank you.
Of course, man.
We'll start from the beginning. We'll just have a chat, go through it all. Because you're originally from Cairns, right?
Yeah,
Cairns to Brisbane?
Yeah, grew up in Cairns. Worked in a bunch of different places up there. Some high-volume restaurants, a little bit of fine dining, some cocktail bars, pubs.
So you were in Cairns first?
We're in Hospo.
Yeah.
It kind of started as a bit of the old tale, started as a uni job and just fell in love with it. I spent a lot more time in Hospo than I did studying for my actual degree, so I thought, let's stick on this path.
Yeah, nice. Did you do the, I'm not finishing the degree, I'm going to the Hospo, or?
I'm still technically deferred.
Nice.
But it's been, I think, probably 10 years now, so I don't know if I'm ever going back to that.
Yeah. Well, what did you study?
Accounting.
Oh, nice. That would be very useful, though.
Yeah, I still use some of it.
Yeah.
Never wanted to go into that field. Kind of stuck with the Hospo thing.
Nice. We met when? 2017? Was it 18?
Probably
No.
thereabouts.
Yeah, Sydney Bar Awards?
Yeah.
Because you were up for an award then, weren't you? Or?
Potentially. Honestly, my memory doesn't go back that far.
Yeah.
But I think, honestly, if it was around that time, it probably could have been Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I think it was Rookie of the Year.
That's a while ago now. You're touching my memory.
We stayed in the same place together, right?
Yeah, that was a wild house.
A wild house, yeah, it was. So I guess we'll start from the beginning. Why Host? Just because it's just a casual job, make some extra cash?
Sure. I mean, I guess that's how it started. Yeah. I realized pretty quickly that I at least really enjoyed it. I do get asked that question a lot. My answer to it has changed over the years.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I think, and a bit more naive, I didn't really understand what it was, and my answer to why I liked hospitality was it was a bit of a show and, being the center of attention and all that. Growing and understanding not just hospitality, but more about myself as a person, I really just enjoy the connection of it all. Whether it's a connection between you and your co-workers, you and the venue, you and the guest, or all of those things combined, it's a pretty unique environment. We get to see almost every aspect of the human experience within our venues. People are celebrating, they're grieving, they're just having a normal day, they want to be left alone, they want to have a chat. Yeah. All of those things together, it's a pretty unique environment that you can experience it all. I'm constantly fascinated by it, not just like the actual doing, the service element, but the psychology element of it all. I think it's a fascinating industry and keeps me on my toes.
Nice, man. I totally agree with all that. It's very similar to what I feel. So you've had a pretty interesting journey, I guess, starting doing all those casual jobs, going to the Rookie of the Year, becoming very well known in the industry, and then managing essentially what most people would call the best bar in Brisbane, right?
Thank you.
Going from that and maturing in the industry, right? Understanding it, like you just said. How's that transition been from bartending, having fun, enjoying the show, but then moving into management and moving into a bar like Savile Row that would probably demand a lot from you?
Absolutely. I think, maturing is the right word. I don't know if I would have got there of my own volition. Having incredible mentors around me, having people that kind of set me straight. Yeah. Anyone who worked with me back then definitely had a bit of an ego, somewhat uncontrollable one. Shout out to Campbell Jones, who knocked me into whack. But but not just him, but many other people. Kayla Reed, Timo Van Hest, a lot of people that I worked with in those early years of Savile.
Yeah.
People I aspired to be, were really inspired by every day, and not just seeing how they deal with people or the industry, but just how they conduct themselves as professionals in this industry. That was a definite turning point, and having to understand that it's not all about me and all of that, and going from that, high profile bartender into a leadership position and being responsible for other people, and not just responsible for other people, but also responsible for their growth and their education. Yeah. Something that I am so grateful for all those people that came before me. And now I just get to give that back and be a bit of an educator, which I love.
When you transitioned into the management role and looking after people, did you want to do it? Were you nervous? Was it something that you wanted to do? Or was someone like, oh, hey, we want you to be the...
Yeah. Definitely. I definitely wanted to do it for sure. It was a huge learning curve. And it was the thing, I think I had matured a lot up to that point, but then that was another restart. It was back to square one, all right. And understanding and accepting the fact that there's a lot about this role that I don't know. Learning how to people manage and how to understand that different people are going to thrive in different scenarios. That was a huge learning curve. Really enjoyed it, really wanted it, but definitely took a lot of work, and still takes a lot of work to be good at.
Yeah, nice. Savile Row is essentially a whiskey bar, right? That focuses on whiskey. You're the biggest in...
Yeah, I mean, it varies depending on any given month. We're either close to the biggest back bar or the biggest back bar. We go up and down between, us, Baxter Inn, there's a few other places in Sydney, Melbourne that have the large but we've got one of the biggest collections in the country. But essentially, we are a very high volume
Cocktail bar, yeah.
Like that's our bread and butter.
Yeah.
We just happen to have a very impressive collection of whiskey, and we love it. But yeah, we're a very high volume cocktail bar for sure.
Yeah, and is that something that I guess drew you to work at a bar like that, or was it just the bar in general? Something about that place?
It was a bit of all of it. So before Savile, I worked at a bar in Cairns called Three Wolves. Which was, I guess, my first proper foray into cocktail bars.
Yeah.
It also had a pretty solid selection of whiskeys. I mean, for Cairns, like compared to Savile, it's a lot smaller, but especially at the time when it opened, like it opened in Cairns 10 years ago.
Yeah. Is it still there now?
It's still there now, still thriving.
Nice.
That whole group, they're called the Hospo group. They've got, I think, 6 venues in Cairns now.
Oh, true.
All fantastic. They're doing great. And so I worked in a bar, and that was like where I cut my teeth a little bit as a cocktail bartender.
Yeah.
So I knew I wanted something similar, but I wanted a progression. And Savile was very clear that, like, when I was still working at Three Wolves, I came down. I can't remember what for. This is a long time ago now, but I think Savile had just opened. It was maybe a month or two after it opened. Got to visit it. I fell in love instantly. My partner at the time, I do vividly remember saying to her, like, I'm going to work here. And it happened. So yeah, probably a year after that, by complete chance, a friend of a friend recommended me to Marty Lang, who at the time was the owner of Savile. And yeah, one thing led to another, and a month later I was down in Brisbane.
And I guess looking back now, if you had to give yourself, like your younger self, a piece of advice, what would it be?
Man, don't stop. Looking back, all the things that I did and learned and achieved led me to where I am, and I wouldn't change any of that. But I think, like, stay curious and don't forget that people in the industry, we're all just people. We all want to help each other. It's a matter of staying curious, continually reaching out to people, continually pushing your own growth. Like, while we all want to help each other, there's no one that's going to push your growth more than yourself. People do want to help you, but it's not their job to reach out to you. So yeah, stay curious, reach out to people, continually learn. It's also patience. It's not as quick as we all want it to be. But it does happen in its own time, and I think in the wide lens of a life and a career, like, man, things work out. So just keep going.
That's some good advice. I like that one. Going back to Savile Row, I feel like that bar, for me, I love going there. And I feel like it does a really good balance of, like, some bars, high-end cocktail bars, right? Sometimes they've got that stigma of, like, feeling pretentious. I think you guys do a really great job of that balancing act. I wanted to ask, like, how do you approach that? The technique, but still making it feel welcoming, which I think you guys do a great job of.
Thanks, man. I appreciate hearing that. That's something we do put a lot of emphasis on. The way we approach it, it's through constant education, firstly. Like, we have a very structured and rigid training program. Anyone that starts, we have an onboarding process, but then we also run a weekly training program. That varies. Sometimes it's on, like, service psychology, sometimes it's on product knowledge, but a lot of the sessions we start with are around, this is the type of person you have to be a good Savile Row bartender. There's a phrase that we use a lot that I actually definitely stole from Peter Hollins, who is now one of Brisbane's great operators. It's precision without pretense. We kind of took that and ran, and the precision part is what we call for ourselves. So precision is, how good are you at your job? How efficient are you as a bartender? How good is your brand knowledge? That is the precision part, being precise in all of your movements, but also your mentality. And it's the stuff that no guest will ever notice if you're doing it well. That's for us. That's so we know that we're doing a good job. The without pretense part is for them. That's for the guest. Do your job to the absolute best of your ability, and make sure that it is always second place to the guest experience. Make sure that every guest is well taken care of. Make sure that they're taken care of, not just in our way, but how they want to be taken care of. Because every guest is different. Sometimes you'll get really reserved, laid back guests that just want to sit in the corner, have a quiet cocktail. And you can understand by body language if that's the case. Treat them with respect, let them be their thing. Sometimes you get a really curious guest that want to chat to you about whiskey for hours. Great. Whatever the vibe is, we do that. So yeah, precision being as good as we can for us, and without pretense for the guests.
That's awesome. That's really good. That's something so forgotten about. Hey, like, hospitality. What is the meaning of hospitality, really? It might not be what someone that's really knowledgeable likes, but it's that guest, they're coming out for the night. It's such a forgotten thing right now. I want to talk about you kind of curating a menu, your approach to that. I guess each menu would be different.
Very. So there's a couple of ways to look at it. If we're talking Savile specific, that's one thing. With our other business, Greenpoint, we do a lot of consultancy. I'm on average writing 3 or 4 menus a month.
So you're really...
Just for venues, not just around Australia, we've got a few overseas clients now as well. I'm constantly working on menus, and they're all different, because every venue is different, needs a different thing. Depending on the venue, that can be a 1-day process, that can be a 3-month process. Savile specifically is a massive project because we only change our full menu once a year.
Yeah.
And there's always a different concept or format, and it will always tie into Savile Row, the place in London, and or tailoring as a general idea. One menu was each drink was inspired by a different fabric. One menu was each drink was inspired by a different building on Savile Row, or so on and so forth. Our upcoming menu is going to be a full-on tailoring magazine, but this is a long process. Like minimum to get a Savile menu ready is 6 months from start to finish. So ideologies and then building the drinks, building the concept, the design work. It's a full thing.
It's a big thing, hey?
We usually launch a menu, have a little couple months of break, and then we'll start on the next one. So,
yeah, wow. Yeah. And we were talking about a bit before how you kind of gone from night to day work.
Yep.
How's that been? Do you enjoy it? Do you like the day work?
Yeah.
Are you a morning person?
From a human perspective, it is better. It's a healthier lifestyle. Like, I definitely am a much healthier person.
Yeah.
You know, I get to spend a lot more time with my dog and, you know, exercise more. That's all great. And I love it. I love it as like from a personal perspective. I do miss working, you know, that much behind the bar. Like it is still, even to this day, where I feel the most comfortable.
Behind the bar?
Yeah, as me, Jacob, as a person, that is where I feel the most myself. And so I do miss that. But from like an overall looking at the health of my body and mind, working days is great.
Yeah, nice. You were talking a bit about before these training programs. I was curious about, you said like kind of once a week. Is it you who developed the training program? Is there so what's your kind of philosophy behind that?
So Savile's training program has evolved a lot over the years. It's not always been me. When we had Andy Bully, or actually originally it was David Brosnan, then went on to Andy, who's now doing great things in Sydney. We've had a few people over the years. More recently it was Leah, current venue manager, and then now myself. So it's kind of evolved, and each person will approach it differently. I run it based on 12-week blocks. And in that 12 weeks, there'll be a mix of psychology trainings, product knowledge, hands-on spin efficiency trainings, and then we'll do either one like off-site training and one like kind of finishing test, I guess. So, and the off-site trainings can be anything from doing a cupping tasting at a roastery, we can do a chocolatier course, whatever that can be. Wow. Our trainings at Savile are all, it's a paid thing. Everyone that comes to the training is all paid for. So it's just a part of our cost of doing business.
Yeah, that's awesome that you really invest. Would you hire someone with no experience for Savile?
Yeah, 100%.
You would?
Quite a few of the people we've hired in the last few years have had not necessarily no experience. We have done that before, but very little experience all the time.
Just based on their like personality and vibe, if you feel good, you're going to hire them? Or?
Yeah, I think it takes a specific type of person. Like, I'll be the first to admit, Savile's not an easy venue to work at. Like, we're open late, 7 nights a week. The earliest we close is 2. On Friday, Saturdays, we're open till 3. Yeah. I can get that's a hard venue to work at.
It's rare nowadays to do it, like to have guaranteed, going till 2.
There's a couple in Brisbane that do it, but there's not many. Yeah. I'll be the first to admit, it's a tough venue to work at, and we expect a lot. Like, we give a lot. I feel like we pay pretty darn well, and pay trainings and a lot of opportunities for growth. A lot of people get trips, whether it's through Australia, some overseas. So there's a lot of perks working in Savile, but we do expect a lot. Yeah. I'm not adverse to the idea that it is a tough venue to work at. Yeah. It definitely takes the right kind of person. I couldn't give you like a list of criteria of what that person is. Yeah. You just kind of feel it, and you know when you see it. Yeah. And we've been really lucky. Like our staff turnover on average over the last 6 years, or since COVID, has been a minimum of 2 years of like staff tenure. Yeah,
you notice that about you go there and it's always the same. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, so we obviously have people move on and go to other places, but on average, a person will spend 2 years at Savile. With our most recent venue manager, Will, was there for 5 years. Venue manager before that, Nick, was there for 5 years. I've obviously been there almost 8. Most of the other staff are coming up on 2 years. Feels good to have a team like that, but yeah, it's an interesting type of person that wants to work there.
Talking about the team, like how important do you think the team culture, having the staff, like how important is the success of a good cocktail bar, like that team culture?
Yeah, massively. Yeah. Like, it's pretty easy to tell if you're going into a venue as a guest and that people don't like each other. And look, it's a constant balance.
I guess just the culture, being at that high level, dealing with staff, does it take a lot of your time up?
I think it's just a part of it. Like, managing people, there's always going to be clashes of personalities, clashes of ideas. I don't think frustrating is the right word. I think it's a cost of doing business. Yeah. It definitely takes a lot of my time. Yeah. For sure. It takes a lot of everyone's time. I think it's just the natural way of things, really. Like anyone who spends that much time with the people you're closest to on a late night basis, consistently night in, night out, there's always going to be issues. Any bar operator in Australia operating at a high level, especially ones open late, that tells you there's no issues over where Savil's almost 9 years old.
Yeah.
If you have no issues over a 9-year career, they're lying.
Yeah,
Savil's always, we've always had issues. Everyone does. We constantly do our best to deal with those issues respectfully to all parties involved, resolve issues where we can. We take lessons, we learn from them.
Yeah,
and that's just what happens over a 9-year history.
Yeah.
A lot of lessons, a lot of growth. And I don't think anyone in this industry is doing it perfectly. We're all just working through trying to get better at it.
Yeah, and I guess even talking about the industry as a whole, do you feel like hospitality is in a good place right now?
I think hospitality is in an interesting place, and every city is different. We all have our own challenges. I think the challenges we face as operators are money. Cost of living is high. Just had another rate increase a couple of days ago. That will see a follow-on effect. The issues I think we face as an industry are not hypothetical. They're not psychological. They are literal and monetary. They are the biggest issues that any operator in not just Brisbane, in Australia is facing right now. Comparatively to that, I think all the other issues, they seem easier to deal with. That's, I think, is the answer to the earlier question is, I don't find the other stuff frustrating. Because there's bigger fish to fry. I look at these things and go, cool, these are issues that I can tangibly work on. I'm not a politician or an economist. I can't fix the cost of living crisis. These are things that I can deal with. They're things within my control. So I try and look at it that way. The issues we face as businesses are much longer term and will be more challenging to face.
The money side of things, right? Things are expensive nowadays, like wages, the supplies, everything is pretty high, right? So I guess when you try and translate that to your menu pricing, your costing, sometimes it can seem a bit crazy to what you need to charge, even just the golden rule, right? Do you follow a certain method there?
Bits and pieces, there's stuff we have to do. Look, Savil's rent is huge. It's our second biggest expense behind wages. We do run a very high wage cost. I don't feel it's possible to run Savil effectively at the quality we want at a lower wage percentage than it sits between 32, 34.
It's good.
Which is decent for what it is, but it is high. It's way higher than we want it to be, especially with all of our other costs. It's a high cost business. The margin on whiskey is lower than other products we can sell. So where we try and make up for that is the cocktails, 75 and 80% GP on our cocktails, which we have to. So that's like where we try and sit. Whiskey-wise is a sliding scale. You'll almost never make 80%. You won't make 80% margin on whiskey. If we're making 75%, we're lucky. But some of the higher end whiskeys, when we're talking $200, $300, $400, $500+ a nip, it's way less.
Are you selling many of those, like a week?
A fair bit.
Wow.
I would say on average. So we have whiskeys that range from $12 to $1,200 per shot. So our most expensive is $1,250. We don't sell a lot of those, but I would say on average we sell 5 $200+ nips a week.
And is the customer that's buying that, is that someone that's genuinely like, I'm really interested in this, or is that someone that's just like having a good night?
There's three kinds of people that buy expensive whiskey. There's the genuine connoisseur who comes in, they know their stuff, they want to try something interesting. They probably have incredibly large collections at home, but they want to try something that they've never seen before, which you can do at Savil. That's the first. They're usually by far the most polite. The second kind of person is impressed people with their money. Have absolutely no idea. They don't care. They just want to spend as much as possible. And then the third is someone who's just won something. You'll see on like post Melbourne Cup days, or someone's just won at the casino. They've just had a big windfall and they don't care. They'll just want to spend
the cash.
They'll just come in and be like, let's ball out for a bit. Those are the three kinds of people.
Nice. I want to talk a little bit about, I guess, your transition from behind the bar to now what you're doing, your admin. Greenpoint. Let's talk a little bit about that. So essentially, what is Greenpoint and kind of what's your role now mostly?
So Greenpoint Hospitality is something that myself and my two business partners, Trent and Khan. So Trent and Khan are the owners of Savile Road. And so we set up Greenpoint Hospitality about 3 years ago. The original idea started during COVID. We were like, all right, no one's got any staff. Or at least post-COVID, everyone's like had a mass migration of skilled workers leave hospitality. So we were like, no one's got any staff. We can't fix that. How can we help? So we started the first kind of product or service Greenpoint offered was a pre-batching business, essentially. So we would do the pre-batching and prep for bars.
And this
around
is
Brisbane.
during COVID?
This is post-COVID. This is
Post-COVID,
probably 2020, start of 2022.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
20, it's something around then.
Yeah, so very close to coming out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we launched maybe end of 22.
Okay.
And so the idea was we'll do the prep and the batching, so that way venues can focus their labor efforts towards service.
Yeah.
We'll do the pre-service stuff.
Yeah.
That way you can maximize your labor cost to
Yeah.
profit ratio. And it started like that. Then we got asked a lot of, oh, hey, can you write the menu for us? Can you train our staff? Can you do this? So it kind of evolved from there. So now we're a bit of a full service hospitality firm. We have done everything from change one drink on one menu to a full venue setup. So there's been venues that we've helped, we've designed, we've done the sound and music for them, the marketing plan, done their menus, trained the staff, set up their liquor licensing legislation, and then help them
Oh, even into that. Yeah,
so
nice.
we very small projects
Yeah.
and very large projects
Yeah.
and everything in between. But our main project is still the batching.
Yeah.
So we batch a very large amount of cocktails for venues around Southeast Queensland.
Yeah, nice. And how did that idea come up? Was it just like you three having a drink one night, just talking about how hard it is, or what was it?
It started because we were thinking about opening another venue, but we still had the post-COVID trauma.
Yeah.
We were like, none of us were even close to being ready to do that. The industry wasn't ready. No, anyone who opened a venue immediately post-COVID, hats off to them. If any of them are still going, good.
I mean, we did, and it was it was
man.
hard as hell. Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know how hard that was. So we weren't ready to do that, and so we're like, cool, but we want to do something. We want a project. We want something to dig our teeth into, and then we're like, all right, cool. What is a problem? Problem is everyone's got no staff. How can we help that? That's just kind of where it came from, and it just grew naturally. So
nice, like organically.
We've done all the consultancy stuff now, and are still actively doing that. And then most recently, probably about a year ago now, we set up SR Cellars, which is our online bottle shop, kind of focusing on rare whiskey and French wine. Which is a bit of an on-shoot from Savile.
Yeah, cool. Has it been nice, kind of like I know you said you feel you're most comfortable behind a bar, but the new challenges, like even the online sell, that's super cool. Do you wake up and you're really passionate to just go and look at that and do that?
I'm passionate to continue learning. My job now, I'm still, even after 3 years of Greenpoint, every day is a new challenge. Like when we were first setting it up, it was like, cool, first we had to set up our liquor licensing for not a bar. It's a producer-manufacturer's license. We had to go through the licensing process, which I'd never done before. Then it was finding a warehouse. Then it was figuring out logistics. Then it was, insurance. And then it was this and this. And I still, obviously now I'm a lot more comfortable, but it's still every day is a new challenge. And now, especially with SR Sellers, it's like figuring out e-commerce and wholesaling, logistics, and how do I consistently source the best products. That is a constant challenge. How do we market this? You're right. So my expertise is in on-service hospitality. That's like obviously where I've come from. I'm not an e-commerce guy. I'm not a logistics guy. So it's been a massive learning experience. And it is still every day. I'm still way more passionate about service and that side of hospitality. I'm not necessarily e-commerce doesn't really go, oh yeah, that really gets me going. But I am passionate about building something new and consistently learning.
Yeah, that's awesome. The trainings that you do at Salvo, right? And the bachelor that you do for other venues, is there plans ever to expand it and even do like a hospitality school?
Yes and no. Before the current iteration of what Greenpoint looks like came about, the school was the original idea. We wanted to set up a school, and there was ideas to have like a test kitchen in there that people could use equipment and stuff like that. I personally haven't figured out the economics of it and how to make that financially viable. I don't know that it is. I've seen there's one other iteration kind of like it in Melbourne that I've seen, and I don't know if they're still there. I'd love to do something like that. I think we need to get a lot bigger before that's even like money possible. In the meantime, man, if people want to come to Savil's trainings, they're more than welcome to. We're not a closed door education thing. I'm happy to teach anyone. So.
And even go back to COVID, like that exiting a lot of people that really did this as a career, as a passion. Do you feel like people care as much like they used to?
Man, I have a lot of conversations with people who were the pre-COVID generation, whether you're 40, 35 or 25, doesn't matter. Like the people who are in hospitality pre-COVID, there is, or at least can be, an air of superiority to the newer generation. And I get where that is coming from, but I disagree slightly. Like, yes, we had a lot of skilled workers leave. Yes, we had a lot of the, old school mindset and generation leave. And I understand that. And there is the newer generation coming in, and they have a different mentality towards, or at least some people have a different mentality towards work ethic or what is right in a work environment. I don't think that's wrong at all, and I don't disagree with the newer generation. It's just a newer generation.
Yeah.
Our or at least my generation was different to the one before that, and theirs was different to the one before that. I think it is a natural progression, whether it's good or bad. And you can only tell that with hindsight.
Yeah.
Do I think they're less passionate or less involved? No, absolutely not. I just think they're younger.
Yeah.
If I look at myself at 20 or whatever, my opinion of myself at that age is bad.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I was nearly as good as what I am now,
Yeah.
and nor should I have been.
Yeah.
So looking at this current generation coming through and comparing them to ourselves as we are now, I think is naive and backed by ego. It's just a younger generation. Where they are when they're my age, who knows? I don't feel a younger generation is less passionate. I just think they're a younger generation.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. I like that. The longevity of a bar. What is, in your opinion, the key to a longevity of a cocktail bar? Something that's going to be there for 5+ years,
Yeah, look, man, it's the age-old question. Hey, and I'd love to speak from authority, as Savile is well past that milestone now. I think there's a lot of things. Yes, there are things that you can actively do. I don't want to discount the luck factor.
Yeah, the luck factor is huge, right?
As a venue that has now weathered probably the biggest, downfall any venue in the world will ever see now, COVID plus being as long as we have. My perspective is there's things you can do to set yourself up for success. And whether they work, yes, there's other forces in play. But the things that I think a lot of new venues open with, especially first-time operators who maybe aren't doing it with a massive backing of budget, will cut corners in certain areas. And I get why, but dude, hire an accountant day one. There is no amount of support and financial planning advice, especially bartender turned bar owner, will understand. Hire an accountant day one, make sure every single financial element of your business is locked away. Compliance-wise, are you paying tax on time? Are your staff paid on time? These things, are they ticked off? Great. If they're ticked off, then we can focus on the little things. I see a lot of bartender turned bar operators who are like, this drink has to be perfect, this service has to be perfect. And you're right, it does. If you want people to keep coming back, sure. But if you've forgotten this tax bill or you've forgotten this super bill, and then 6 months down the line, you're like, oh, I owe the ATO $60,000. Well, I'm screwed. So that's where the big thing, make sure your finances are in check from day one. And then the other stuff kind of falls into place. Having a good offering is obviously important. But man, the best venue in the world with the best drinks, the best food, the best service, if they get hit with a $60,000 bill, you're screwed. Our margins aren't high enough. There's no venue in hospitality in Australia whose margins are high enough to be able to go, it'll be fine.
It is. Right. You're right. It's still so hard. You've worked how many years in a bar? What's kept you through? We're talking about even Savile going till 2 a.m. every night, 3 on the weekends. What's kind of kept you going through those like hard, long nights for years and years on?
Look, man, in the early days, I was young.
Just fun.
I'm still young, but like younger. It's easier to do that at 22. I'm still a young man. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, I'm so old. It does every year it gets harder. I just don't do it as much anymore. I mean, in the early days, dude, it was fun. Like, it's so much fun. Savile still is so much fun, but especially in those early years when I was working 40, 50 hours a week in the bar, it was so much fun. And I still get that, like, you walk into a service pre-shift and you get goosebumps, you buzzing a bit, your adrenaline's pumping. Like Savile on the weekends, especially Savile Friday, Saturdays, it's high energy, rooms pumping, it's just, it's a good time.
The energy, you're right, it really does kind of feed you when it's busy, pumping, everyone's happy. For me now, like, I struggle, I forget how to, because I was a bartender, so that's kind of, I'm a bar guy, and now I feel like all I'm doing is on the phone to the ATO, insurance, this is broken down, I need to do this, can we do this with this payment, just that's all I do now. And so whenever I go, which is very rare, but if they're really busy, I'll try and help them. Sometimes I slow the staff down more than help them, but I'll make a basic, I don't know, whatever. I'll make something like a margarita. I'm like, and I'll look at it, I'm like, it looks good.
Oh man, it's still it's the little things I do enjoy. But like, I couldn't say, that there was like one thing that got me through long nights, because I never
Wasn't a factor for you?
wasn't a factor. I've never looked at it as a slog.
Yeah.
And yes, it's hard work, especially Savile, especially in those early years, man. Like, we were far less efficient.
Yeah.
You know, Savile, when it was set up, was not set up to be as high volume as it is.
Yeah.
Obviously, over as many years, we've figured out heaps of things to make service quicker and drinks quicker and all that. But in the early years, it was pretty an inefficient setup.
Yeah.
And so you worked what we would consider a quiet night now.
Yeah.
Back then was like you had to be on for the whole 10 hours and you'd barely scrape by that. So it was one of those things that was like you did feel at the end of a night, my legs are shot, my arms are shot. But I never looked at it that way. It was just, It was a lot of fun, especially all the people that I started with, like Jesus and Alex Hooker and Maddie and all of that crew that was there like 2018.
Yeah.
We were all like the same age.
Yeah.
It was coming up, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that's probably why you've had such a long career in hospitality, the way your perspective on the look of it. Yeah, it's fun. If you weren't in hospitality, what do you think you would be doing?
It's a good question, man. I don't think I've ever had a good answer to it, because I don't know. I've done it my whole adult life, and actually a lot. Like, I worked in cafes as a teenager and stuff as well, so I've never really known any different. I guess the idea was accounting or some kind of financial sector. Whether I actually would have gone into that, hard to say.
Do you have any other passion, that, like, apart from hospitality, that you think you would have got into, like, career-wise?
Yeah, I'm really passionate about music.
Music, nice.
Like, I DJ a little bit on the side. Not as much as I used to, but whenever I have time. And I'm a big audiophile. Sound as an aspect of hospitality is something that massively interests me. And the music side of things is huge. So maybe something with music, but you never know.
Cool. Yeah.
I run a seminar that I've done a couple of times, or a presentation called Whiskey and Disco.
Yeah.
Where I talk about like sound and music curation and hospitality and how it affects a business, but also vibe of a guest and stuff. But something I've been doing a lot of research into, and like how that affects not just a guest experience, but from a business bottom line as well.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing. It's something I'm very interested in, but it's a constantly evolving thing. How you set up a venue to have perfect sound is tough. It's also not cheap, like having good speakers or getting a sound engineer to set it up. It's not a cheap endeavor, but it's definitely, over a long course, it's definitely worthwhile.
Yeah, my first venue that I opened up was Dirty Sultan. And originally I opened that up to be more of like a late night bar. I didn't imagine anyone dancing. It was more like you go there, you would get a little bit lit, but then you're probably leaving around 11:30, 12 to go to the bar that you're going to dance at.
Sure.
And it completely turned into a nightclub, which was great. You let them turn into what they want to turn into.
Yeah.
And I just remember it was the 3-month process for that sound.
Oh, absolutely.
Had so many different people in. We almost had to change the feng shui of the venue.
Yeah.
Like, this speaker, no, it's not going to work there. And just the bouncing, this is open, this needs to go to here.
Yeah.
Learned a lot about that. Then honestly took 3 months to get it close to right.
It's tough, man. And look, I think I'm very happy and proud of where Savile's sound is.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be. It's a pretty expensive system.
Yeah.
And we have an amazing sound engineer who's set it all up. But again, that took a little while to figure out. And there's a lot of changing things. There aren't many venues in Brisbane whose sound I think is like top.
Yeah.
Like Black Bear Lodge is an incredible example.
Yeah.
Their sound is impeccable. They put massive amounts of emphasis into how important that is to not just their vibe, but their business model as a whole.
Yeah.
They are a dance and live music venue.
Yeah.
And whether it's live music or DJs, the sound is impeccable there.
Yeah.
I would say probably the best that aren't like a nightclub with $1 million sound system.
Yeah.
They're probably the best in Brisbane. It's a huge thing. If your sound is perfect, no guest will ever notice it. No guest is leaving a restaurant or a bar going, man, the sound quality there was amazing.
Yeah.
You will notice it if it's bad.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
it's like getting sound right is like an unsung hero.
What separates great bartenders from everyone else?
Attention to detail.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. One standard you'll never bend on?
A bartender or an operator?
A bartender.
Clean as you go.
Clean as you go. And then an operator?
Clean as you go.
Clean as you go.
No, as an operator, the little stuff matter. Don't let them pile up.
Yeah, nice. What does good service look like now to you?
Good service is just a genuine conversation.
Yeah.
I'm not someone to go into a venue and just sit and have one drink. I like to have a chat.
Yeah. Just, I guess, making them feel seen.
I don't want to feel like it's someone's chatting to me just because
They have to.
They have to.
Yeah.
Someone can have a nice chat and ask me about my day.
That's nice. Yeah. Hardest lesson behind the bar you've ever learned?
Hardest lesson I've ever. Don't let Campbell Jones's ice well get low. He'll throw an ice cube at you.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, but you learn pretty quick.
You learn pretty quick. Consistency or creativity?
Oh, consistency.
Consistency.
All the time.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. What do guests care about more than they say?
What do guests care about more than they say? Something they are complaining about internally.
Yeah.
Whether you're paying attention to enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The most underrated leadership skill in hospitality?
Understanding that everyone needs different things.
Yeah.
Some people need to be coddled. Some people need to be yelled at. Not yelled at, but like brought into line more structuredly. Yeah.
Nice.
Everyone's different.
Everyone's different. A moment you felt proud recently?
I felt proud recently. Man, that's a tough question. Yeah, I think the most proud projects I've done recently is probably a full menu design. There's a restaurant in Greece on
wow.
Eos.
Nice.
We did a full menu design and staff training program for them. That was really cool. Just to do like a proper overseas.
Where was it? EOS, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
And then personally, I'm proud of myself for showing up every day.
Yeah. One industry myth that regular guests believe but doesn't actually exist.
No ice in your drink will give you more booze.
Yeah, that's a good one. Why hospitality and still?
Man, I love it. It brings me joy. It's a creative outlet. It's a constant mental challenge.
Nice.
Helps me grow.
Nice. If you could give advice to someone right now who's, I guess, wanting to get into the industry or just business in general, get into hospo, what would be the advice you'd give someone that would ask you?
Man, ask questions. Like, find a mentor. Find multiple mentors. Ask them questions. You'd be surprised how willing people are to give you the secrets. Not that they are secrets. If anyone messages me and wants to get a coffee or a chat or wants to have a weekly phone call, man, I'll happily answer their question. But I'm not nearly the only one who'll do that. Please reach out to multiple people for advice.
I really appreciate that. I really enjoyed this episode, so thank you. How can people reach out to you? Greenpoint?
Yeah, my Instagram is Jacob Cohen. Just feel free to reach out to me personally there, but we've got Greenpoint Hospitality, SR Cellars, Savile Row, Fortitude Valley, all of our Instagrams. You can find me wherever.
Awesome, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the episode today.
My pleasure.
I hope to have you on in the future again.
100%, man. Happy
Awesome.
to do it.
Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate it.
Thank
man.
you.